Hi, everyone. This is Jacqueline T.D. Huynh with Integrative Minds, and I am on my 13th day of my 30-day Facebook challenge by my marketing coach to talk about what I do and to share with you some tips and hints and just some really, hi Nicole, wow, I haven't talked to you in a while, just to share with you some experience and some learnings that I have had. So I'm the owner of Integrative Minds, where we help you become the leader that people want to follow. And I assist my clients in creating a family of their dreams while having lots of fun in the process. So I used to be a corporate trainer on leadership development, specializing in emotional intelligence and in dynamic communication. It's late. I'm a little tired. Dynamic communication and employee engagement. And as I was learning all of my skills and teaching people in the corporate field, I realized, like, gosh, it would be so great for parents to know these skills of managing their emotion, how to communicate with their family member, and how to really engage and get their children to do what they want on a way where the children want to do it. And I remember asking myself, like, why isn't this taught? Why do only corporate people get to learn these things, and why don't parents do it? And so in answering all those questions, I was like, well, maybe I'm supposed to be the one doing it. And so that's what kind of moved me out of the corporate trainer and moving into the family. And I'm just so passionate about it when I see my clients really change their family and create more harmony and create more happiness and excitement and getting everybody engaged. So today I am going to talk about self-forgiveness. 2 days ago I talked about forgiving other people and why it was so hard for us. But what I found, which is even harder, is forgiving ourselves. Forgiving itself releases a lot of negative energy and judgment, and it allows us to move forward. And that's what I talked about 2 days ago. But self-forgiveness, I think, is infinitely more difficult, and it actually is more rewarding in the process. And hi Megan, glad you're aboard joining me today. And I think it's harder because think about it. How many times have we beat ourselves up over and over again about, I don't know, I can think of so many things that I beat at myself about, like I shouldn't have done I should have done this differently or better, or I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have said that, or I should have really expressed how I felt. And I end up, repeating what I should have said over and over in my mind, right? Or if I was a better person, maybe if I had a better mom or a better dad, I would, maybe react differently. If only I had studied harder, I would have a better job. If only I had just cared a little more, things would have been different. Or maybe I should have cared less. I know with my marriage, those two came up a lot. Even after the divorce, it was, a question where I had to ask myself should I cared more? Should I have cared less? What did I do wrong? What part of it? So I used to beat myself a lot. And even now, sometimes, I still have a very high conflict relationship. And I have to question, like, did I stand up enough for my children? Did I stand up enough for myself? Why didn't I do that? I mean, do you guys find yourself saying these things and then you just feel worse, right? All these should have, shouldn't have, if only I did this, why didn't I do this? Why did I do this? And you can fill your own words. And, the phrase, I think that brings up, it's really, when you think about it, it's all negative energy, right? And that's what keeps us stuck, and that's what holds us back. There's a saying that says, if we treated others as we treat ourselves, we would probably go to jail. And you think about it, it's probably right. Why is it that we have such an easier time forgiving other people, but yet we can't forgive ourselves? Have you ever asked yourself that question? I know I have all the time. I know that one thing is because I I don't personalize when other people do something, right? I often feel more compassion for them. For me, I'm really good at rationalizing. I can always put myself in the other person's shoes and think, well, maybe they were doing their best at the time. Maybe they had a bad day, and in a way, it's kind of making excuses for them. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. And maybe it's true, maybe they were doing their best at the moment and they just didn't have the right tools. But, I find that I don't give myself that compassion. I don't give myself that rationalizing. I always put myself like I should be the best. And if I don't perform the best, then I am less than somehow. And I had to really check myself, and my coaches really had to check me, and I had to really consciously be aware that, oh my gosh, these little things that I say that I didn't even realize it was just me beating myself up. It is definitely easier to extend that compassion out to others and not to ourselves, right? Or that inner voice that tells us we're not good enough, that somehow we've done something wrong. So it is tough to forgive ourselves. At the core, I think that we need to start believing that we are good enough. And self-forgiveness really begins with allowing ourselves to understand that we are good enough. And in fact, we're perfect. One of my coaches said, we are all born perfect and complete. Now, sometimes we do things or say things, hi Fiona, that we wish we hadn't said, right? But a key to self-forgiveness is that we don't judge ourselves because of that. We have the same compassion to ourselves as we give to others. We all make mistakes, and the most important thing is that we learn from, right? So instead of when we notice that something doesn't feel good, we should look at it. I know I have learned to look at it as an opportunity for me to grow and just say, what is it that I'm doing here that doesn't fit into my puzzle? What's not working here for me? And then I just make adjustment. No, I catch myself and I say, if this was someone else, what would I say to this other person? What compassion would I say? So I kind of put myself in the third person so that I can see that I'm not beating up myself and giving myself a high five for making the mistake, learning what it was that I needed to learn, and doing it better next time. So highly conscious people see things that don't work out, and they grow from their experience. They don't give heed to, in fact, actually, they don't even hear that inner critic like we hear it, right? Because they are so conscious that they just know that inner critic is not their intuition. It is not their higher being. It is just a voice that will kind of stop you. It's just, we just have to take notice of that. It's part of it, but it's not who we are. So people with a lot of negative energy have their deepest fears reinforced, and they'll continue that cycle of self-blame. Do you know someone like this? I know I do, and I actually had to choose to let go of some of these people in my life, and some of them were really good friends, and others were people I dated, and actually there were some that even were my close family members that I had to let go of because I realized that they just increased that cycle of self-blame for me, and I had to break that. So say it to me, it's time to break this cycle. I'm going to break this cycle of the self-blaming, right? And just say to yourself, I am perfect and I am whole and I am complete. So whenever that thought comes up of you did something wrong, why did I say that? Why do I do that? Just go back to that really beautiful place in your heart that says, I am perfect and I am good enough. And look back at that moment and say, what do I need to learn? Because this was just a lesson for me to learn. It isn't about me being a bad person in any way. So I'm welling up with tears because it is, it's a very touching when you can forgive yourself. So I want to leave you with a quote that's really great from St. Francis de Sales. He says, have patience with all things, but chiefly have patience with yourself. Do not lose courage in considering your own imperfections, but instantly set about remedying them. Every day begins the task anew. So every day you become a new person, a better person, right? So I hope you had some aha moments or had some revelation and forgive yourself for anything that may have occurred before you listened to this video. And I'm really glad that you guys join me. Thank you. Every day I'm doing something. Hopefully it's something that will be helpful for you. So tune back tomorrow. If you haven't seen the previous videos, please go back. And Fiona says, hi, yes, when we break that cycle, we live more in our freedom. Absolutely. I am passionate about being women, helping women do this through helping their body. Yes, Fiona is great. She helps people love their body. And part of loving your body is also loving who you are on the inside as well as the outside. So amen, Fiona. So anyways, I want to thank you for being here today. And I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great evening.